Hey everybody, it's Mama. Welcome back to Mama's Odi Tarot. So today we are doing a past life reading on Sojourner Truth. Another requested video by Jaleel, I believe. I said Jalen the last time and I meant to say Jaleel. Oh Lord, I apologize. I think it was Jaleel and not Jalen Green. I think it was Jaleel Green who requested the video. But either way, I appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing and tuning in. But yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's jump right in. You guys know about Sojourner Truth, right? I hope so. But for sure, you should at least know that she was an abolitionist, Civil War activist, women's rights activist. She has her famous Ain't I a Woman speech that she delivered at the 1851 Women's Rights Convention in Akron, Ohio, where she powerfully questioned the argument used against women's suffrage, right? So let's jump right in. I asked a lot of different questions. Hopefully it doesn't take forever, but let's start with her soul's archetype, of course, and then her archetype in the past life that we're jumping into. I already had to pull out some cards and keep them out because I'm like, if not, my whole desk was going to be filled up with these piles. But let's see about Sojourner Truth's soul's archetype in general. Oh, mother, advocate, mediator, prostitute, and mystic. Okay, so on a soul level, she is somebody who is always going to be very compassionate and always not be afraid to put that compassion into actual action, like it says on the card, to actually do something. She's not afraid to negotiate for fairness. She is a mediator on a soul level, so it makes sense why she would be negotiating for women's suffrage and women's rights. That's her personality. That's what she does. She has a gift of gab. She can see both sides of an argument. She's very, I would say, fair. Very much Libra, balanced scales type of energy where she can respect both sides of an argument, but she knows how to make sure that she's strategical in terms of her thought process. So that way, whatever outcome she comes to, it benefits everybody. Definitely a mystic, has a huge connection with the divine because, in this past life that we're looking into, not to skip ahead, she was a high priest, because I feel that she was a male in this life, so definitely was a high priest, but on a soul level has that nurturing, kind mother energy as well. It says nurturance, patience, unconditional love, joy in giving birth to life. So she literally is the mother of all mothers, okay? Like on a soul level. Definitely gives Cancer rising vibes, but I don't know her birth chart. But anyways, probably got some Cancer placements in there for sure. We also have prostitute, which tells me that sometimes, she's put in these situations where it's going to be high stakes, high reward. They're going to see whether or not she chooses to negotiate her spirit for money. Will she choose money or will she choose the path that they have for her? They often put her in high stakes situations where even if, in this past life that we're looking at, we have food and hunger coming out here. So we know she dealt with being poor. She dealt with not having a lot of food, dealing with hunger, issues like that in her past life. And so it feels like they always put her in those type of high stakes situations where she's either going to have to choose between having, being rich and having money and all that, or being poor and being a prophet, right? Being poor and being a mystic. So, she's definitely, it gives, I don't know, like Mary and Joseph or Jesus vibes. Like it just really gives, she may not have been huge, but she was taken care of. She was respected. And when I say huge, I mean, she might not have been like a rich person in this life as a male, but she definitely had the support of her community and the care of her community because of her soul's archetype, because she is that motherly role and she cares for everybody and she protects her community and she advocates for people. And, if she has to be literally the neighborhood root worker, the neighborhood seer and psychic, like she's always been, she's always going to be a seer and always have those abilities to help people to fix situations, and maybe even on a more mass level. This is giving me like she has capabilities when it comes to her spiritual gifts to do mass energy work, not just to help, one individual person with their love life, but like to really affect society and change the times and the masses. And, she was probably one of the ones that was putting some real spells on Massa, putting some real root work on him, because she's very, very good at doing that type of stuff. In a past life, probably, I don't know about this one, because I don't feel like she was, as this male, I feel like he was really, really dedicated to his spiritual path, and he wasn't in no type of relationship. He didn't deal with any distractions. But on a soul level, I think with her showing up as a mother, shoot, she got a lot of children out here. It's a lot of people out here that's descendants of her that may not even know. But they're like, this is what this is really telling me. It's like, you know how they say that about Gaddafi, how like 1 in every 200 men or something like that is like a descendant of Gaddafi. It's one of those type of things with her, where a lot of people are descendants of Sojourner Truth and have her on their spiritual court or have relation to her. She's a very huge matriarchal figure. And like I said, in the past life, she probably mothered a lot of children, probably had a lot of babies, whether physically pushing them out or just taking care of them and being their caregiver and their mother. Definitely capable of doing all those things on a soul level. Like, she was the type that was nursing and breastfeeding all the babies in the community, you know. But then will also stand up to anybody to fight and protect everybody. A good lawyer, most definitely. Which makes sense, because didn't she negotiate for her son's freedom as Sojourner Truth? Like, didn't she win a court case? Wasn't that like a big piece of her life too? Winning that court case to get her son back? Wow. Yeah, she is the mother of all mothers, okay? But let's see about in this past life, because I could get stuck there. That's beautiful. And I love that she's a mystic, that she, you know, she's always going to be a high priest or high priestess on a soul level. All right, let's see. In this past life that we're looking into, where I feel like Sojourner Truth was a man. Hermit, teacher, engineer, warrior. Oh, we had a lot that came out. Destroyer and healer. Okay, so most definitely a healer, most definitely a fighter. Not afraid to stand up for what he believed in this life, I feel like. But with this hermit, engineer, and destroyer is saying that in this life, he chose not to be so committed to his bigger mission, his bigger path. Yes, he was a high priest. He was helping people in the community, I feel like, and being a great teacher and teaching other people about their spiritual gifts and enlightening everybody and making them aware. But I think that in this life, he chose to be more of a teacher. Sojourner Truth chose to be more of a teacher and less of a fighter, like focused on the healing. But with this, you know, the hermit, it kind of gives me closed off energy. So it's like, yes, I'm a teacher. Yes, I'm helping people to learn about magic. Like, I'm definitely an alchemist with this engineer, and I'm a magician, but maybe, just maybe, I'm focusing more on teaching other people how to do that and how to help other people, as opposed to being a destroyer myself. So it says releasing what is potentially destructive, preparing for a new life. So it's one of those things where I feel like she didn't want to walk through the door. Yeah. She was kind of rejecting her bigger mission, like, of really being a fighter and standing tall and not being afraid to go after people. I feel like she was a little bit more meek when it came to her spiritual gifts when she was this man, which is honestly weird, because it's normally the opposite. You see the men that want to be crazy, huge, and strong and brave, and they want to be egotistical and entitled and all that. And it's like, no, she had the ability to do all that, but instead she chose to be more quiet, more hermit vibes, stay to herself. And with this have a new life, I feel like, because she knows she had already dealt with those things in previous lives, and she had that awareness and the psychic abilities and the gifts to see that, she was just like, you know what, maybe I just won't do it that way. Maybe I'll try it a different way. Like, maybe I'm not going to be a warrior and a fighter and be so bold and be so destructive and be so angry, you know, and not step so much into my strong, you know, my body and my physical abilities and my strength and all of that I have. But maybe I'll just be a guide and be a teacher this time and show everybody else how they can use their spiritual gifts to do those things. So I think that she had a certain awareness that, you know, this just wasn't the lifetime for her to be so brave and so strong and so strong-armed and, like, you know, be out here harming people and killing people and taking advantage of them, you know. Even though it wasn't going to be for anything bad, it was going to be for a deeper cause, and it was going to be for a good purpose. She was just like, nah, I'd rather be a guide. I'd rather be a teacher and a healer and, you know, teach other people about their spiritual gifts and things like that. I don't know. I just heard Zora Neale Hurston name in my head. So maybe she was one of Zora Neale Hurston's teachers. Or something of that sort. I also just heard Aunt Caroline, so she could have known or been around Aunt Caroline in this past life as well. So that's dope. No wonder they had me pull my hoodoo tarot. So we're gonna see, because I asked, is she an actual reincarnation? So we'll see if that's the case. But let's go ahead and continue. Like I said, she was definitely a guide. She was a healer. She was a teacher. Definitely a alchemist, an engineer. Definitely cared a lot about being solution-based and helping other people, but focused more on being a teacher and less on being the one that is doing the work. Like, I'm looking at the way on this addict card, this person is kind of pushing other things forward. It's like she was trying to progress other people by just being a guide and a healer, but not so much being the one doing all, tapped in spiritually and doing the heavy lifting. Like, she wasn't out on the front lines actually fighting. She was more behind the scenes doing the healing and teaching others how to do the healing. All right, let's continue. Spiritual contracts and karmic lessons that she came into this life with. So what soul contracts did she have? Boundless Horizon, Gateway of Awakening in reverse, Spirit Circle in reverse, and Ripples of Love. Okay, yeah. All right, okay, so she wasn't doing the wrong thing by choosing to avoid being, huge and being in the spotlight and not walking through that door. That was part of the contract with this Gateway of Awakening in reverse. Excuse me, confirmation. So in this past life, Sojourner Truth was doing exactly what they were supposed to do. They were supposed to see the bigger picture with this boundless horizon and not think of things so small and feel like they was the only person that could be the means to an end, and that they was the only person that could make something happen. And it's like they had their ego so deconstructed that they was able to see that. Like, it's great. It's amazing. It's like, all right, I'm not going to open up that can of worms with this Gateway of Awakening coming out of reverse, because my soul contract is telling me to have a new beginning, to do something, go on a new path, not to walk through that same door that I've always walked through before. With this Spirit Circle in reverse, it's like, it's not to say that I'm not going to be around my soul family. Yeah, I'm going to interact with my soul family and people that I already know from other lives. So, like, whoever Harriet Tubman was and whoever Frederick Douglass and all those people was before, like, yeah, she was encountering them in that life, because we going before Sojourner Truth. So she had, she was already encountering them. So by the time she became Sojourner Truth, like, meeting Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman and freaking Ida B. Wells and all these people is just like meeting the homies. Like, this is meeting family. This is meeting people that she already knew from before. So in this past life, though, being that she already knew them from even previous before that, she wasn't supposed to get so caught up in whatever their mission was. I don't know if they had the same mission. I'm not looking into all of them. So, somebody asked me to do Frederick Douglass. Now I'm going to go ahead and have to do it. Hurry up and get that done. I'll probably post it tomorrow after the day after I see this reading. But yeah, she wasn't supposed to get too intertwined with her spirit circle and her soul circle. She was supposed to meet all of those allies and things like that. But no, it wasn't the time for her to, be so caught up with them and doing whatever it is that they was doing. With this love, it's saying that she was supposed to be moving from a space of love. And yeah, imparting her wisdom and healing and showing people what love's impact could be. So I feel like she did. I know we didn't get to whether or not she filled her contract, but I feel like she probably did, because as far as her personality, she was choosing to be a guy. She was choosing to, actually be a healer and not be so much addicted to being the one that got to be the warrior and the fighter. I think she probably struggled between those two, but I think ultimately, I feel like she went down her path and she did what she was supposed to do. And even though she encountered a lot of people that she knew, she didn't get so caught up in that past life and get so caught up in what it is that they was doing. She focused on her mission and what it is that she was supposed to be doing. And it's like, nah, she was supposed to be moving from compassion. She wasn't supposed to be toting no guns or being at the front line in no war. Like, nah, she was just supposed to be doing things behind the scenes, like doing the root work to probably keep all of them protected and keep them safe when they went outside. Providing them with the mojo bags and the different things for when they went on the front lines. But she wasn't supposed to be on the front lines. All right, what about her karmic lessons that she came into this past life with? Obligation, difficult road, compassion, independence, and self-love. Yeah, so she felt obligated. Of course, she came into this past life before even being Sojourner Truth. Like, remember, she's already a healer, a mystic, a warrior, all these things on a soul level. So she was expected to come in and fulfill her mission by being that negotiator, right? Being on the front lines, actually being the one fighting for justice and fairness. So she came in already having that obligation and already expecting and knowing that she was going to go down a difficult road, knowing that she was most likely going to be poor, deal with the food and hunger issues, all of that good stuff. Like, this was already all set up and something that she had already dealt with from a previous life. So she came in with those karmic lessons surrounding that already and was aware of it. She was already very compassionate and knew that she had a deeper mission and that she was supposed to be here to, care for other people and all that. But with dependence and self-love coming out, the struggle was going to be whether or not she was going to be so dependent on her obligation and dependent on what she knows herself to be on a soul level, or whether or not she could free herself from all those obligations and just choose herself. Like, understand that, yes, although she is one of God's angels and she's a warrior and she's out here fulfilling her mission, like there's times where you just get to chill out, right? Every lifetime is not the time to be a warrior. So the struggle was gonna be whether or not she chose her self-love and went down her own path. I'm looking at this deer. You know how deers can be all doughy-eyed and sometimes they are misdirected and they don't know which way to go and things like that. So they was wondering whether or not if they gave her this new beginning and they gave her a fresh start, but still put her around the people that she already knew, would she still go down her own path, or would she feel obligated to be dependent on those people and help them and be around them and would she cling to her old life and her past people and everything that she knew, or would she be willing to start over and have an entirely new life? It says you are worthy and deserving of all the abundance in the universe. Treat yourself with the love and respect you desire, and others will follow suit. So it was time for her to not be a martyr. It was time for her to not always be serving other people and be a servant. It was time for her to serve herself only. Be selfish. Only do what made Sojourner Truth happy, as whoever this man was that she was in his past life. It was all about doing what made him happy, and that's it. All right. So let's go ahead and continue. Personality and all of that good stuff. I decided to kind of layer it by doing 3 cards each. So we have food and hunger. So we know that she dealt with food and hunger in her childhood. Definitely was poor. Definitely didn't have a whole lot of money. So I went ahead and got 3 cards to clarify. We have expectation, occupation, and thief. So this basically told me that this was the expectation, that she was always going to be serving a higher purpose, right? Her job here, her occupation was to be a healer, was to do the Lord's work and the Lord's bidding. And that meant that she wasn't, like, money was not going to be the focus. Money should not have been important to her. She shouldn't have worried about whatever dollar amount that she had. Like, she was supposed to just be happy for the way that God was going to take care of her and the important spiritual work that she was going to be doing. Also, this is telling me with this thief that, you know how this person is kind of like wearing a mask, and, it makes me think of, that negotiating spirit that she had, that really strong, powerful energy. They were telling her that this was not the time. They was expecting her to pretty much choose herself, right? And not go down that path of being this person, doing all of that work that she's done in the past by being a warrior. So that's why they tried to set her up with the food and hunger and all of that stuff. It was like, all right, we're going to put her through some, stress and some turmoil. But this time we're going to make it permanent to see if she just chills out and enjoys her life, probably living in a community with a bunch of other people, having to everybody make food together and everybody grow food together. Like, it really feels like, from what I'm seeing here, she had the energy of communal living, right? And so everybody had to kind of take care of each other. And it's like, no, y'all didn't have a bunch of money, and no, you didn't have a bunch of money on your own, and you probably got taken care of by the community, but the healing work and everything that you did was enough. And so that's why you was always, like, it gives Brahmin vibes, if you know anything about Vedic. It gives like she was a Brahmin, and, she was out here being taken care of by those that she was giving the messages to, and because she was the one that was connecting, being that she was the high priest, and she was this guy who could connect with his ancestors and all that. So because he was bringing the messages to everybody and letting them know and forewarning them about the disasters that was coming, the famine, the wars, like, because he was doing all of that predictory stuff and being a psychic and doing his mission, everybody in society made sure to provide him with food and take care of him and give him whatever it is that he needed. He possibly dealt with some health issues too, because now it's pulling me to the health card, where his physical health might have been, not so good. He could have dealt with stomach issues, indigestion. It would make sense with the food and hunger, but it's bringing me to like indigestion or stomach issues that she might have had when she was this man. And so we have divine feminine, self-love, and rich girl. So yeah, this is telling me that he definitely had health issues, but also, like I said, he was a healer. He took care of the community. Like, this is what Sojourner Truth was doing, and because of that, the divine feminines that was in the community took care of him, protected him, like, made sure that he was good. Like, he never became rich himself, but he had a lot of women around him that had money, that loved him, that cared about him, that protected him and took care of him. Like, sacred prostitutes and things like that, really respected him and honored him and revered him. Because remember, on a soul level, she did, come out as not only a mother, but as a prostitute. So she got that Isis energy on her. So it's like, even though she was a man in his past life, she was very charming, and she was very good looking, and she was most definitely taken care of by the people in her society. Had a lot of suitors, a lot of women who wanted to marry him, and like, yo, I'll be your wife and we can have this life and I'll give you all of this money, I'll take care of you, I could be rich. Like, there was so many offers, it was freaking crazy. Like, there was definitely a lot of love offers, but unfortunately a spouse was the last thing on his mind. This is the last thing on Sojourner Truth's mind. We have concern, legal, and faith. No. They wanted to stay balanced and stay devoted to their divine nature and their faith and their connection with God. So they were omitting from sex, completely fasting from any type of sexual nature. Like, I'm looking at the way this person, I'm kind of thinking of like a person yawning here. Like, he was like, yawn. Like, no. He wanted nothing to do with sex. Like, he was completely asexual, was fasting and staying connected to his spirituality, getting the proper rest he needed. Like, this is giving, shaman vibes. So basically, when I first started the reading, I heard, she's a biracial girl. She's a biracial. So I don't know if he was biracial necessarily, but definitely was multicultural. Could have been back, but definitely was multicultural and of a different type of spirituality. I think that, he was a shaman, and he definitely had his times where he was going on his journeys, like, where he was going to monasteries and he was just staying, in a monastery. Like, that's what I really feel like he was doing. Like, it gives monk vibes. Wow, like, it really gives monk vibe, but definitely stayed, all of their chakras stayed aligned and balanced, and a very slow type of patient person. Like, took their time when it came to their connection with the divine, and when it came to their connection with, their ancestors, always giving offerings, always praying, spending probably half the day, if not most of the day, in prayer. Like, this gives monk vibes. Like, this is all that they were doing. Like, they had no interest in having a spouse, but they had so many women and offers and suitors that wanted them, but they were so devout with this high priest and high priestess, like, literally made a vow to only connecting with the divine and not involving themselves in any type of love matters. And I think with this distant future, real love and travel, it's like, yeah, they put love, bro, I cannot make it up. This person was like, Sojourner Truth in the past life was like a went on like to a monastery and went on like one of those journeys, with this travel, where they traveled and they focused on their connection with the divine. And so they put real love in the distant future. They was not thinking about that. They was only focused on being a psychic, being a shaman, connecting with the divine, and getting, being able to predict the future and what was going on here. And so real love was way off in the distance. They was busy, traveling and being a nomad and, going to monasteries and just being in prayer for months at a time, like, yeah, going on these freaking journeys and just praying probably in a church somewhere in a cathedral for like 10 months at a time, and just fasting and connecting with the divine and not even eating. Wow. Sojourner Truth was a whole real like shaman monk out here. All right, let's see about her personality in this past life. We have the human GPS, bro. And even Pete with the travel with the human GPS. Literally always traveling. Literally. Not, and when I say traveling, I mean like to go to these monasteries, and they would be gone for years at a time. I feel like people wouldn't see them. They would, like with this grill master, it was all about continuously unlocking all of their spiritual gifts, like mastering their spiritual gifts. So you didn't see this person outside, even though the human GPS is coming out here, and this, like I said, this person was traveling to go to these places. No, but they would be connected with nature, or they would be inside of a church or a monastery. They wasn't just hanging out, partying, chilling with people. No, this person was totally focused on only their spiritual life and only their spiritual duties and their connection to God, and being that guide. Represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. Ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. Passion to serve others by repairing the mind, body, and spirit. Ability to transform pain into healing. Seek solitude to focus intently on inner life. Like, yeah, she was going on all of these. This is crazy. This is so crazy. Like, that's why the hermit was coming, because they was literally just in hermit mode, literally just praying all day. That's crazy. I mean, with this meme lord, I feel like they're saying that they took everything very seriously. Like, they took their connection to the divine very seriously. This person probably, I don't know why I'm saying this person, but I can't think of a name to call them yet. But SJs, SJ, Sojourner, I'm weak. They really wore their heart on their sleeve. Like, they was so, like, their connection to God was so important to them. Like, they was preaching that to everybody. That was the more important to them than anything else in this world. Nothing came before their connection to the divine and their connection to God. Like, it was so black and white for them that was the life that they was going to be living. And it was all about, with this deadline surfer, staying afloat, staying connected, like making sure that they was always able to hear God. So I think in terms of their personality, they like going by the water. They like being in water, or, giving offerings to the water, connecting with their water spirits. Possibly could have been a water sign. Roommate diplomat. It makes me think of the breadcrumbing. You know how they'll sometimes fast a lot, and not feed themselves. Like, they was okay with giving up a lot. Like, they had no problem. Whatever it is that they needed to give up, they was willing to give it up. They didn't care about nothing. Like, it was just that simple to them. Like, they didn't care about the pleasures and the sweets and all of the extra satisfactions, with this cookie here that come from life. It was all about focusing on their connection with God. But with this meme lord, I think they might have been a little bit naive as well. Because, that it makes me think of someone being a little bit foolish. Did the fool card come out here? Because I don't know why I'm thinking of the Fool card now, but excuse me, in confirmation, I might have seen it in my shuffle, but she might have been a little bit naive in this past life, where she that compassion that she gave to other people, she was still expecting other people to be as compassionate as her, to be as loving. It's like she felt like, she was idealistic and felt like we could go to a point in society where everybody was good and everybody was compassionate and everybody was doing what it is that they should be doing and actually connecting with the divine and doing what she was doing. Grill master, bro, disciplined as F, disciplined AF. There was nothing about her that was not disciplined. On point. I'm talking about mastered all of the skills. Anything that she wanted to do, her wisdom, her creativity, her skills, everything she wanted to master, she mastered it. And she was a mentor for others with this grill master. And then lastly, with the human GPS, I feel like the last part of her personality that I get from this is that she was somebody who was like an anthropologist. I would consider them like a nomad, an anthropologist, somebody who wanted to learn about so many different cultures and their spiritual practices and what it is that they did and how it is that they venerated their ancestors. Like, she'll go to China and, go be with those people. And then she'll go, to India and learn from those people, and then go to Haiti or Africa and learn from those people. Like, she was so just interested in that type of lifestyle and definitely was a cultural anthropologist. All right, let's keep going. I next asked about I think childhood. No, okay, was she a reincarnation? Let's start there. Was she a reincarnation? Because I gotta know. Was she a reincarnation of a known historical figure or spiritual leader? Dr. Buzzard, Nine of Wands or Nine of Sticks, Dr. Grant, Seven of Sticks, the grandchildren, Black Herman, Son of Sticks, and Father of Sticks. Yes. Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Sojourner Truth is a reincarnation for sure of a spiritual leader. Dr. Grant, let me look at this. When was Dr. Grant born? Because don't tell me she was just actually... Because wasn't Dr. Grant Zora Neale Hurston's teacher? Let me see. Well, do we have an age for Dr. Grant? Yeah, it says he was a proud swamper that preferred to do the old things the old-fashioned way by gathering what is needed in the wild. And he was a Protestant conjure doctor from New Orleans. Dr. Grant, but no, that's probably not before Sojourner Truth. Dr. Grant, do we have his age or his birthday or anything? They don't have anything about his actual birth and death. So this is who this could be. This is who Sojourner Truth could have been, to be honest, before becoming Sojourner Truth. They have no knowledge of the birth and death anywhere on Google about Dr. Grant. Because I thought it was Zora Neale Hurston. But if he was one of Zora Neale Hurston's teachers, let me see. No, because Zora Neale Hurston was 1891 to 1960. We know Sojourner Truth was 17 to 1800s. But what they're saying is that she's a male. She's a reincarnation of a male. Like, we have literally 4 male cards here. And a famous root worker, obviously, Dr. Grant Black Herman is here. Son of Sticks and the father of Sticks. So yeah, she's a reincarnation of a famous alchemist, spiritualist, root worker who, was into conjuring and things like that. And he was a male, and she is a reincarnation of him once again. And it's likely his grandchild. Like, that's how it came, that's how the reincarnation happened. Like, he was the grandfather, and then he had a daughter, and then the daughter had a child, and that child was him once again. Came right back to him. He must have passed away before his daughter had children. And it's like his daughter was the one who carried him with this 9 of Sticks. Literally, he came back inside the womb of his daughter to protect her and take care of her. Now my hand is itching. It's something here. I can't figure it out, and my left ear is burning. I can't figure it. I know I'm onto something here, y'all, but I can't figure out exactly who the person is right now. Y'all might know better than me, but it's like it was all about him coming back to his bloodline to protect his family and protect his bloodline. Like, I don't know if he saw that something was about to be treated unfairly or something was about to go wrong, but he needed to correct something. This is about correcting a generational curse and bringing back, healing and fixing things within his bloodline and making sure that his grandchildren wasn't hexed or cursed. Like, it was like somebody put something on his family, and he had to come back and fix it and get rid of it and get it up off of them. And he had the tools. He knew exactly how to do this. Like, and obviously is a very ancient person. Like, I have to understand, in order for, I'm not saying like just because he came back into the direct bloodline of his family that makes him old, but when someone does something like that and they able to just directly come back like that does symbolize a certain mastery of things in the spiritual realm. If you know anything about what I'm talking about, if you know, you know. Like, he has to have a lot of mastery and be a certain age in terms of the spiritual realm and the ancestral realm. Like, he's got to be a prominent ancestor to just be like, you know what? No, I need to come right back through my child so that I can go ahead and correct this and fix this. And so he's his own, the grandmama is the granddaddy is the baby. Literally, like like Jocelyn said, the granddaddy was the baby in this case. And so, yeah, Sojourner Truth is most definitely a reincarnation of a prominent spiritual figure and leader and healer. I don't know. Could be Dr. Grant, could be Black Herman, could be somebody related to Zora Neale Hurston, but either way, they came back to go ahead and correct something in their bloodline and protect them and fix everything here. That was the whole purpose and point of them coming back in this life before they, was ever became Sojourner Truth. All right, so what was their childhood to adult years like? The Big Queen, 6 of Coins, Ace of Coins, 2 of Coins, 3 of Swords, 8 of Coins, Mother of Knives in reverse, Mother of Coins in reverse. Okay. And his childhood, his mom died? Oh my God. Or the Big Queen, either mother or grandmother, a prominent mother role figure in his life. But this feels like a lot. This feels like dealing with a lot of family members lost. This don't feel like just one. It's like a lot of people that he cared about, that he loved, somehow lost their life. That's what this feels like. The childhood was filled with a lot of heartbreak and pain and sadness. But this is what activated the spiritual gifts with the 8 of Coins. They was juggling with a lot. It's something about his mother. Like, I think his mother possibly was in an abusive relationship, to be honest, with his mother, with this Mother of Knives and Mother of Coins, his Swords and Pentacles. It's like she, was stuck. She was trapped in a situation where she wasn't happy, where she wasn't safe, where she didn't want to be, where she wasn't being taken care of. And she wasn't able to get the mental clarity. She was not getting the spiritual guidance or whatever it is that she needed. I think his grandmother died. That's who died, the Big Queen. It was like grandparents died, which makes sense because he was the grandparent. His mom was left alone. She was married to a man that she really didn't belong with, somebody that she couldn't really trust, somebody that you know, she was being basically a mammy to, like the perfect wife to, taken care of. And it's like her father was up there watching her juggle all of this and watching her go through all this heartbreak and be so good to a man that was not being good to her. And he was like, no, I've got to come back and fix this. And so what happened in the childhood years, once he did come back, was he started to pretty much help his mom, talk to her, be there for her. Maybe even, you know what I mean, do some spiritual work to make things start to turn out in her favor. Like, to break up, maybe even to break up the relationship between, you know, her parents. That's what this feels like. Like, Sojourner Truth came back as a male and just like to do spiritual work to break her parents apart or get rid of her daddy, whether he wanted his daddy dead. However, he wanted his daddy out of the picture because his dad was not providing for his mom and taking care of his mom. But you have to understand that he is his mother's mother. So it's like, I mean, he is his mother's father, so it's a little bit different. Like, nigga, you're not about to just do that shit to my mom. You're not about to just play with my mom like that. I gotta come back and come here and correct this and fix this. So that's what he did in the childhood to young adult years. He protected his mom. He helped her get up from under that mental confusion and start protecting her heart and take care of herself. He helped her mom to pretty much... I keep saying he helped her, but I'm talking about the same person. Y'all know what I mean. Sojourner Truth helped their mom to get out of a loveless marriage, to get out of a situation that wasn't serving them, to start protecting herself and to start being happy and doing what made her happy. I don't know if Sojourner Truth's mother ended up becoming educated, getting, you know, learning how to read, all this stuff after that, but it feels like she had to come help her to fix the bloodline and to get her from up under whatever sadness she was dealing with and to break up the marriage and get her out of that relationship. So that's what she spent the childhood to adult years doing. Sojourner Truth is just breaking her parents apart, helping her mom to get into a better life situation and choose herself and do what makes her happy, and focusing on growing whatever spiritual gifts he had. Like, he was putting in a lot of work. Yeah, he was putting in a lot of work. Probably from young was even out like working, actually making money, doing stuff to really provide and help his mother because he wanted to make sure that his mother could be self-sufficient and she didn't need that man and she could get the hell away from him. So it's like he came and he saved his mom. That was it. He said that's what he was focusing on during childhood to adult years, just saving his mom and protecting her from the situation that she was in, dealing with a horrible, loveless marriage where the man was abusive and taking advantage of her and probably cheating on her. Wow. So what spiritual gifts did she have or did she, obtain throughout this time? We have priest, servant, child wounded in reverse, mentor in reverse, judge in reverse, and queen in reverse. So listen, pretty much at this point, they had pretty much activated all of their spiritual gifts, to be honest. All of the gifts that they had that they could possibly open up to, like they had developed all of the consciousness, like they had access 1D to 5D, like they knew about all that. They was able to channel. She was literally a direct channel from God, like literally. It says facilitate spiritual commitment, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. So she was a direct channel from the heavens, from God. She was here to be a servant of his. She is one of God's angels. She can speak prophetic messages from her tongue. She can see the future. She can envision it. She can see it. Like, she is a seer, a medium, a psychic, all of those things in every sense of the word. All right. But child wounded coming out in reverse, mentor coming out of reverse, judge coming out of reverse, and queen coming out of reverse. Baby, we talking about the mother of all mothers. So therefore, his spiritual gifts was to be able to see what was going on with his queen. He knew when his mom was unhappy. He knew when his queen wasn't doing well, because guess what? He used to be her mother. Right? So as far as the spiritual gifts, it was one of those things where he could tell when his soul family wasn't good. His mother is a part of his soul family, is his mother that he's dealt with in every life. So he's not about to play about his mom. He has that beautiful divine connection with his mother. Remember, mother came out as far as Sojourner Truth soul's archetype. So they're always going to have that beautiful connection with their mother. So they don't play about their queen. So they would dream about things that is happening to his mother in the way that, and they don't play about the divine feminine either. Sojourner Truth, even as a masculine, he was one that did not play about the divine feminine. He wanted the divine feminine to be served for the goddess and the queen and the high priestess that she is. Okay? Sojourner Truth understood that even when he was in this male body, and he was like, ain't nobody about to be playing with the women while I'm around. Ain't nobody about to be messing with no divine feminines. I'm gonna make sure I protect them. I'm gonna make sure that they know better, that they know how to see when how to judge a man and know when he's right and when he's wrong. So that's why he became a mentor, because he wanted to protect women from being taken advantage of. He wanted to protect women from being played. You understand? And so with this mentor and judge coming out in reverse and telling me that his spiritual gifts is that he's able to see the dark magic, the dark things that people are doing to fuck with people's mental health, to get their chakras unaligned, to have them, going through mental turmoil and confusion, death spells, death magic, hexes, curses, generational curses, like, bro, everything. Sojourner Truth has so many freaking gifts. He could look at a person and be like, oh yeah, you cursed. It's something upon you. You need to cleanse. You need to wash, my baby. And that curse is coming from your granddaddy side. I mean, from your dad, your paternal side. And it's your paternal grandfather because he did this. He imprinted on you like, bro, I'm talking about spiritual motherfucking gifts out the wazoo. Able to identify all that shit. Because see, when you about to have a baby type shit. What the baby name gonna be, the gender, everything under the sun. Could tell you about your children and how many children you're gonna have. Like all of that could tell you if your child been cursed or blessed, or if there's a curse on your womb. With this child wounded coming out of reverse could literally tell you everything that was going on with you negative spiritually. That's why these cards is coming out in reverse. Not because he was no bad mentor, that he wasn't a good judge. No, he could see all the dark shit, the negative shit, the bad shit that maybe, some people is here to see light things and they can operate more on the light side. Well, Sojourner Truth in his past life was operating on the dark side. There's a duality to everybody. Everybody is not, you know what I mean? It's not going to be a quote unquote light witch. Some people are quote unquote dark witches. And this is what was going on here. He had a great left hand. He could do some great left hand spiritual work, but he could also see when that work, more importantly, he could see when that work was done on somebody so that he could take it up off of them, so that he could wash them and cleanse them and help them do good. Yeah, he was real old school. It really does make sense why he's coming out as Dr. Grant and Black Herman. Don't play that shit. That was not the spiritual root worker that you wanted to mess with. Not the one that you wanted to mess with, because he will curse you in your whole bloodline. You was, as my friend Jeremiah like to say, I don't know, shout out to him if he watched this video, you was going in his pot. Yeah, you're going in his pot. He don't play that. You was going in the pot if you needed to go. Like if you was playing around and you wasn't doing good out here and you was taking advantage of people, no, that was a problem. And look how it says using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward in life. He wasn't using lack of money as no excuse. Not at all, because he knew that he was always going to be taken care of. That was no excuse. He had to get up and get to it. He didn't care if he didn't have no money. He had herbs on his side. Do you hear me? Sojourner Truth was going to pick up them herbs and going to make some shit shake. They was going to eat good. They was going to be taken care of always by the divine. But yeah, the main thing with the spiritual gifts was about seeing what was going on in their family. They could see what was happening with their mom, with their brothers, their sisters, everybody in their family. Like that's why they came back and was born back into this bloodline, because it's like, no, I need to make sure that my family is good. I can't see them. You know what I mean? Like I have to make sure that they're good. I can't have them out here discombobulated and going through shit. Remember what a spirit circle came out. Spirit circle. So he was around a lot of people that he knew, family and friends. Family and friends, not just 30,000 of them people that he was friends with, but he was around his actual family, including his mother. He was born right back into that bloodline, and he wasn't playing with that. He was not playing. He wasn't letting nobody play with his mom at all. But let's go ahead and continue, because I'm getting stuck there, all right? I asked, did she have soul family around her? But the answer is yes, we already know. We already know that she had soul family around her. Like I'm like, Harriet, Frederick Douglass was these people around? Yes. Oh wait, I'm sorry. No, this was more about her childhood to adult years. I apologize. This was more about her childhood to adult years. I forgot I pulled two of those because I know I used this deck to ask if she had her soul family around her. So we have false, poverty, gift, change, family, earth angel, emotional pain, and healer. Bro, is this not what I said? Yo, it was like there was some dark shit that was going on in his bloodline, Sojourner Truth, and she was up there in heaven looking down, and she not happy. She was not happy. She was like, oh, hell to the F no. I will not. My family is not supposed to be in no type of poverty. And I don't know why my daughter would marry some broke, busted, disgusted ass broke boy thinking that she can help him and take care of him. But that's a no-go. Don't worry, because I will be back to make sure that we fix that, because my daughter's gifts and my family's gifts will not be siphoned off of. Her gifts will not be. And so, yeah, her whole childhood was just about using her spiritual gifts to help her family, right? I knew it. Change, family, and earth angel. Like, he literally turned his mom into an earth angel by breaking his family apart. And even though this was emotional pain for the father, her mom actually started doing the healing and everything got better. right? And they actually stepped into their healing qualities and healing abilities. And that's all that Sojourner Truth was doing, was focusing on being a healer, being a shaman, being a mystic, and making sure that his mom was happy, and his mom was an earth angel who got to live out her days single, sexy, and successful, okay? That's what I'm picking up from looking at this card, doing what it was that made her happy and choosing herself, and also protecting all of his family, not just his mother, but his siblings, anybody else that might have came along, because he might have had he might have been the youngest sibling. He might not have been the older sibling, or if he was the older sibling, then he had one. There was 2 children, and he wanted to make sure that him and his sibling was protected, and got away from this dude, because it was a no-go. It was a no-go. The father was a no-go. And so he had to come in and do some healing work on his bloodline and his family. So just so you know, you guys, there's some people that's capable of doing that. They don't just go back being born into random families. They'll go right back into their own so they can make it right. All right, now, does she have soul family around her? Keep an open mind. Stay optimistic about your love life, healing family issues, and pay attention to the red flags. Yes, but she knew that these people, that she was focusing on healing her family issues. It was like she knew that she had to keep an open mind. And she possibly had but she was a male in this life, but she possibly had a love connection with someone, like from her soul family, like whether it was, I don't know if it was Ida B. Wells, if it was, Harriet, if it was Frederick. I don't know who was the actual soul family partner that she was supposed to be around, or that she ended up coming around, not supposed to be around, but ended up being around. Of course, it was set up that way for her to be with her soul family and her soul alliance and all of that good stuff. But one of them specifically was supposed to be, a love partner, but she knew that she needed to Sojourner Truth knew they needed to keep an open mind and stay optimistic about their love life and not get attached to whoever the woman was, because this was about healing their family issues. And so they needed to pay attention to all of the red flags, not get caught up in being no abolitionist or being wherever they was at, being no big leader or being at the front of no revolution. That was not the plan. This was just about fixing their family, healing the generational curses within their bloodline, and within fixing that family structure that he was already born into. So he was not here to, he's like, yo, y'all got it. Y'all got it without me. Y'all can do this without me. Like, when it says the signs are cautioning you, he's like, listen, y'all got it. Y'all totally got it, and y'all got all the signs, and I'm gonna be here to caution y'all, but I cannot help y'all actually go out and do nothing. I have to heal family issues. So he made sure to keep an open mind, even though there was a part of him that was having a tug of war, like, damn, I would love to be out on the front lines with them. I can't. I gotta fix my family. I gotta stay behind the scenes and do what I gotta do to make sure that my family is good, because things have pretty much gone too far in terms of my family, and I need to fix that. So there was that. I also pulled a couple more. What was the relationship like between him and his soul family members, his soul alliance, Parallel Park Pro? He wasn't dealing with them. He couldn't. Autocorrect victim, yoga pretzel, conspiracy theorist, and ghosting guru. He had to leave a lot of those people in the past. He had to ghost them. It's like, yeah, with the conspiracy theorists, they could call him when they needed help or when they needed ideas, or if they needed, like, bro, you think, what you think? Like he was there to be a mentor, but that was it. He was just there to be a mentor. He was so much at peace and at solitude when it came to this that he was like, yo, I cannot get myself wrapped up in this. These people will have me wrapped up in a whole different cycle in a lifetime that I'm not supposed to be closing out that cycle. That's just not what I'm here to do. And so with this autocorrect victim, it's like he was like, I don't want to make a mistake and be caught up with y'all. So I got to pretty much ignore y'all. Not on purpose, but I can't listen to everything y'all say with this autocorrect victim. I can't do everything y'all say. I can't follow y'all. I can't go down this path, because that's going to have me parked and slow down from what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. It's 2 things with a car here and taking the wheel. And it's like, nah, he knew Jesus had the wheel, and he had to let him continue to take the wheel. He couldn't just take over and do what it is that he really wanted to do and what made him happy, because that, it's like, bro, he was addicted to being on the front lines. Are you kidding me? He is addicted to being one of God's angels and being and being a slave to the divine and being out here and being on the forefronts and being one of God's divine ones. That's all he really, really, really cares about. That's it. Like, if he could, he would be out there doing that shit every day and every lifetime. Just being out here taking down the powers that be, taking down the masses, the mass demons. And bro, he would be a demon hunter if he could. Every lot of time he would be out here demon hunting, but it's just not, it just wasn't the life. So he had to leave a lot of those people in the past and not really talk to them. Or if he was just over the phone, he couldn't chill with them and be around them in person. He had to keep a distance between him and these people because they was going down a certain path that he was excited about, he was addicted to, and he knows that if he didn't stay away from them, then he would have ended up doing it too. And then he wouldn't have focused on his actual mission, which is taking care of his mother and his family and healing the family issues within his bloodline. So wow, that's beautiful. Like, wow, I could understand that, you know. Really, it literally says surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. So he just had to trust in the divine and know that, you know, yeah, he had that special connection with God, but it was not about helping those in need. It wasn't about that at all. It was really about him coming back and correcting what was going on with his family. I cannot make it up. Detective, lover, child eternal, and hedonist. He knew his dad was stepping out on his mom, and he was like, oh, hell to the fuck no. Probably was having dreams about it, like, oh, so you cheating on my mother, you doing this, you sleeping around with other women, you this hedonistic dude, you a horrible person, you don't belong in my blood. He was pissed at who his father was, but he had no choice but to pretty much deal with it. But with this detective, it's like all the while with knowing what was going on, it's like, bro, I love my mom too much to sit up here and even if I'm a child, I love her too much to sit up here and let her be taken advantage of just for the sake of having a husband. Like, I need her to know the truth. I need her to know the truth so that she can free herself. So it's like with this Messiah, liberator, and king and rescuer, that's what he did. And the ancestors say, stop here. So I will stop with this deck. But yeah, literally, this is the idea. He came back as a Messiah to pretty much not only, you know, protect himself and liberate him and his his sibling and whoever from the father, but also to, you know, rescue the mother, protect her, and protect his bloodline from whoever this tyrannical dude was, whoever this king is that's showing up real entitled and with no restraint. Because at the end of the day, yeah, humanity was still going to be good without him. Like with this Messiah, that's like saying, you know how many other people was here to fulfill that? Like, he had to really understand and surrender and know that he had to just focus on his goals, and there was other people in this world that was going to get it done too, that was also had the same benevolent, kind nature. Like, it was all about him having trust and faith that even if he put a pause to this and he moved on from this with his ships, that there were certain karmic lessons and blessings that he was supposed to be gaining from doing this. And it didn't mean that the mission was ended. It didn't mean that the mission was over. It just meant that he had other things that he needed to focus on. It was still going to continue. He just had to have trust and faith that it was all still going to work out with him, even if he chose to, you know, leave it in the past with this Egypt coming out here. He might have been Egyptian. But let's go ahead and continue because I'm getting stuck again. All right, adult years. What was her adult years like? Mother of Baskets, the Garden in Reverse, Three of Sticks, On Caroline. Bro, I knew it. On Caroline done came out. Black Herman done came out. Dr. Grant done came out. All of these people are significant. That's why she came back as Sojourner Truth, to be around these people, bro. She already knew all of these people. She already knew all of these people, but she was basically the root worker. People was coming, traveling from near and far to get her healing. That's what she was doing. 8 of Swords, 2 of Swords, 6 of Sticks, and 2 of Six. Yeah, literally. People was traveling from near and far to come to her to get her healing, just like they did with Aunt Caroline. But with this garden coming out in reverse, I feel like she did a lot of stuff in private, a lot of stuff behind closed doors, was not always wanting to be in the spotlight and be in the forefront. Her victory came from guiding other people, freeing other people. That was where being a mentor and freeing people from their limiting beliefs and helping his mother and helping to correct his bloodline. Like the woman that birthed him with this garden in reverse, and the Mother of Baskets, that's the most important thing to him. And I feel like eventually he started going after what he wanted with this 3 of Sticks, traveling and being, going on to those monasteries and pretty much going down that path where he wanted to no longer be a part of society. Like, he just wanted to be a monk. And that's eventually what he did. I feel like eventually he spent his time far away from everybody with this 2 of Wands. By the time of his death, once his mom was good, his family was good, everything was good, he was like, all right, now it's time for me to go on my pilgrimage. I don't know if he literally went to Egypt, but it was like, all right, you're good, you're living your best life, you ain't attached to daddy no more and having to do nothing dark, and your life is looking good. Like, once he was happy and satisfied, and I don't know if his mom transitioned here with the garden coming out in reverse. His mom eventually transitioned and went to the other side. He was like, all right, I finally can do what it is that really makes me happy. But I needed to protect Mom Dukes. I couldn't do nothing until I knew Mom Dukes was absolutely taken care of. And the rest of her days was lived out beautifully and perfectly. And once he knew that was the case, Then he went and chose to go on this pilgrimage of, going to a monastery and being alone and being by himself and being out of the spotlight. But I think with the 6 of Sticks and 2 of Sticks, he was still well known for the people that came to, like I said, receive his healing and receive, whatever shamanistic abilities, Reiki possibly, because, it's a lot about hands here. So he definitely could have been performing Reiki on people. So people was coming from near and far to get that Reiki. They didn't mind how far they had to travel, to get to him. But he was definitely somewhere off to himself, not, somewhere close to society where you really had to, there was a lot of traveling. Like he was somewhere remote, okay, on an island somewhere or something, or up in a mountain somewhere. Either way, he was remote, and it was, you had to come travel in order to find him to get that healing. And if you did, then you was just lucky enough to get that touch and that healing from him. Then shoot, that was the biggest blessing that could ever be put on your life. I'm talking about people didn't care, white, black, orange, green, blue. They wanted to come get that healing and that blessing from whoever Sojourner Truth was in his past life. And he was definitely somebody big, somebody well known, with the 6 of Wands coming out here, the 6 of Sticks, he was well known. For sure. Definitely. And we know that Sojourner Truth is a reincarnation, so there are always going to be people that's well known and put in the spotlight, and people that we know, because they're a whole reincarnation. Wow. So let's go ahead and continue to the death and the energy surrounding the death. All right, we got travel, healing, man-made disaster, natural disaster, justice, motel, hotel, intuition at home. Okay, he died at home in the comfort of his, monastery or wherever it is that he was staying. That's where he pretty much died pretty peacefully. With man-made disaster and natural disaster coming out here, this is telling me that, it was time for him to go back up to the heavens, and, God was saying that it was time for him to pretty much return. That, karmic justice pretty much, I knew it, that he fulfilled his contract, that karmic justice had been served, and that, with him traveling, being this seer, this medium, this root worker, helping people, healing, being a healer, everything that he had done, he did amazing. I think he knew, that it was coming with his intuition. He knew when he was about to go. It wasn't like, oh my God, random and unexpected. No, this man had spiritual gifts. Like, so the intuition was very much there. He knew, and so he just stayed around his, his nature and his plants comfortably. He tried whatever it is that he could to, protect himself, with remedies and spiritual things. But I think ultimately with this man-made disaster, it was just like, it was inevitable. It was time for him to go. And hotel motel kind of makes me, it kind of makes me feel like, I know this is random, but it kind of makes me feel like not only was he, I don't think he was literally in a hotel. Like, I feel like I said, he was in a monastery, but I feel like he was surrounded by women. I feel like those same women that he was helping to heal and protect and do things for, like, they was there. They was around him and with him, to make sure that he transitioned in a peaceful way, and that he was comfortable, and that he went, as nice and as comfortably and as peacefully as possible. Somebody might have did some root work on him with this man-made disaster coming out here. Somebody might have did some spell work or some root work on him because they felt some type of way about all of the healing and everything that he was doing. But ultimately, God, God was okay with him being called home and him, being brought home. There could have, somebody could have literally did root work to manifest like a literal storm or a natural disaster or something where he was to where everybody was washed away, and it wasn't just like one person. It was like, in droves and numbers, like a big group of people that was, washed out by this natural disaster. But ultimately, he was called home to God, and karmic justice was served, and the things that he was supposed to do, he had done. And he was not sad or unhappy about this. He knew that it was his time, and that he was going to be back, and that, there was going to be many, I guess I'll see you next lifetime. It's going to be many more lifetimes to continue to be a healer, be a warrior, be this person that heals people and protects the universe, and be out here fighting for a cause. There was always going to be another life and another time for them to come back and do that. So did they fulfill their contract? I'm pretty sure yes. Sweetheart, imprisonment, yes. Work, labor, and efforts, yes. Literally imprisoned, stuck with their mom. Like, yes, that was their whole focus, and they put that work in. And they freed her from this. Yes, they freed her from the entity attachment. Yes, Sojourner Truth did. And I think Sojourner Truth killed their daddy in this life. Like, I'm talking about really was going up. Spiritual warfare, the spiritual warfare between these two was crazy. Like, I don't know if that was an enemy of his that went and came back, wanted his bloodline, that married his daughter, and that's why he felt some type of way. But Sojourner Truth was not going for this. Like, hell no. You is not about to harm my mommy. My sweetheart, the one who take care of me and love me. Watch how I come back. Watch. And I'm gonna free her from this bondage and this entity attachment. And get this and trap this nigga and his life. Because he went and thought that he was about to be attached and stuck to my mother, a.k.a. my daughter, because it's both, and be attached to her and stuck to her and siphon off of her gifts and her hard work and labor and efforts and her sweetheart, beautiful energy and her being so caring and loving. No, it's a no-no. So he had to come and pretty much do that spiritual work and get rid of daddy. He had to go. No. He was a whole demon out here. He felt like his dad was a whole entity attachment that needed to fucking go. He was a curse that was on his bloodline. A curse. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if he was an enemy or what, but he knew that man didn't belong, and he had to come back so he could get rid of that nigga. And so he did that. Yes, he did. Yes, Sojourner Truth did fulfill their contract. All right, let's keep going. How did this affect their life as Sojourner Truth, though? Authority figures, angels, galactic, and finances. Oh, okay, so this time. They was like, all right, this is where she get the energy of being an authority figure from. But now she get to actually come back and be in the spotlight again. Oh, she was so excited to go back to being one of God's brightest stars and one of his best angels. She is one of the 12 disciples. I don't care. She another one. One of the original 12. Okay, that was out here. It really gives David vibes. Like, it really do. Like, she wasn't afraid. You feel what I'm saying? You know how they say about that, what's that slingshot that they say David had? That shit with, ooh, that's what it's giving. Like, she was excited. Like, ooh, I got my slingshot again. I get to be out here and be an authority figure. I get to lay down law on motherfuckers. Like, I get to really step back into the spotlight and really be, somebody huge. So that's why she was excited to be Sojourner Truth again, because she get to be an abolitionist, be there for the women's rights, go back into her rightful role as an angel, and not that her bloodline is fixed and she cleared up whatever it is that she had to do to make sure that their wealth and their abundance and their money came back. That's what she had to do, correct the bloodline so that the money wouldn't be effed up, because apparently whoever that dude was, he was coming trying to siphon off of them, and they might have ended up in poverty or ended up, you know what I'm saying? And she wanted to make sure. Remember, she ended up escaping slavery and going to freedom and living out a good life and, going through that case with her children and getting them back and all that stuff. If she would have never corrected her bloodline, who knows what would end up happening with that? You know what I'm saying? She might have came back as a slave and been taken out. Either way, she did what she needed to do to make sure that she restored the health of her bloodline. She restored the blessings back to her bloodline. Okay, because she learned those lessons and she did what she needed to do. And so she got put right back into her star role with this galactic, went right back to being a seer, being a medium, connecting with the divine. Yes, Sojourner Truth was most definitely a spiritual root worker and had gifts. But this time, it was no longer behind the scenes working with her roots and herbs. She got to be back on the forefront as an authority figure, somebody on the front lines again. So that was nice for her. What contracts did she have? Circle of life, inner balance, and call to authenticity. Same thing. I'm just cooling with my youngins. I don't know, I just heard that. But yeah, she just got to link back up with her homies. That's what this was about. She got to link back up with her bros and her sisters and her family members, all the people that she was doing the other 11 disciples. That's it. She got to go back and beat up with her people again. And with this inner balance and call to authority, she got to breathe a sigh of relief and go back to doing what she really loved. With this inner balance, that's what really bring her peace. That's what really bring her joy and happiness. That's what really makes her feel like she's doing her mission and her job, and she feel like she's her best version of herself, and she's being fearlessly and living her most bold self when she's in those Sojourner type personality, kind of things where she's being a mediator and a mystic and less of being a mentor, right? She like, nah, being a mentor is cool and all. It was fun. It was nice getting to teach other people, but baby, that's that being on the front line, that's that itch that I cannot scratch, that I could not wait to go back and scratch. So she was really excited that God sent her back to be Sojourner Truth and, be on the front lines again. So that's dope. I mean, ships came out here, so she definitely had experiences being on a ship before. So her, dealing with transatlantic slave trade, being a slave, all that wasn't nothing new for her. Like, she's not new to this, she's true to this. She just like Harriet Tubman. So for her, it's like, bro, bring it on. I'm ready. I'm ready for everything that y'all think y'all about to throw at me. Again, with the bring balance. It was all about her with this expand your consciousness and pay attention, it was all about her realizing that, all right, I did my job. I had to expand. I had to, you know what I'm saying, pay attention and focus on what it was that I was doing for my family. But now, baby, the shame is gone. The shame is gone. I have to feel shame for wanting to be on the front lines no more. I could be an enabler. I could do whatever I want and get the rewards, the recognitions. No more taking the high road for me. I get to be on the front lines because I've done the job of protecting my family like I wanted to do. And now, with this gratitude and boundless possibilities and miracles, because I trusted and I believed and I allowed myself to be grounded for a while, now I get to go back to being my brave, courageous heart self. Yeah. Now I get, like I said, here go inner peace right behind it. Now I get back to doing the shit that really brings me inner peace, which is being on the front lines, all right, with this boundless possibilities, being right at the forefront of the mission and of the movement. So she was real excited to go be at the forefront of the movement this time. All right, what did I ask next? Let me see. I know I wrote it down. Has her soul incarnated in modern times to continue her work? Is she around now? Has her soul incarnated in modern times to continue her work? Let go of control issues. Allow the situation to unfold naturally. Codependency. Addictions are affecting your romantic life. Heart-to-heart conversations. Honestly discuss your feelings with each other. Very soon. Ooh, clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. Unrequited love. There's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going. And honeymoon. Enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. Okay. She might have came back once before, but what I'm seeing right now is that she's chilling up there with this honeymoon. She up there. She is up there enjoying being, in paradise, being in the ancestral realm, being in the spiritual realm. Pretty much with this heart-to-heart conversations, being with her soul family, like she get to talk to them, she get to be around them, like, and with this let go of control issues, there's no, oh, we have a mission. Oh, I can't deal with you. I can't talk to you. I think right now she's just enjoying spending time with the lover, right? The person that she really, really wanted to be with. Like, they over there in the ancestral realm just really vibing out, being at peace, having a honeymoon phase. Like, there's nothing, the situation can unfold naturally. There's no control issues. They could talk all day, have the heart-to-heart conversations. They could be codependent and, be in love and all of that stuff. But what I am seeing with this very soon and unrequited love, baby, she's about to come back. She about to come back soon. And for me, with this unrequited love very soon and codependency, she's coming back to her family again. Something else must be going on in her bloodline that she like, nope, we gotta come back and fix that. So the grandmama's finna be the baby once again. But I do think that this time she's gonna, it do say unrequited love, where it say there's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going. I do think that they're gonna urge her to try to let go of the idea that she only has to help fix her family. I think they are gonna urge her to try to have a honeymoon situation and be in love with her person again. It's like, yeah, you're so connected to your divine nature and everything, but I think they do want her to kind of get to have that love relationship when she comes back. But she will be back very soon. I don't think she's here now, but I think her and her partner, whoever that the love partner is, they will be coming back, both of them, very soon, born into their respective bloodlines, and hopefully they get a chance to come back into each other. And they're saying clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. So they're saying they're going to be given a chance to have love, but they need to clearly decide whether or not they want to constantly be worrying about other people, or is the focus going to be self-love this time. So yeah, she's going to be given a chance to meet back with a lover, and she'll be back here very soon. So one of these new babies that's coming along and over the next, let's see, let me ask. Is this going to be within the next 1 to 5 years? Is this within the next? Okay, 6 to 10 years, y'all. Within, listen. Oh, okay. Because I was about to say 6 to 10 years. That sounds kind of crazy. 6 to 10 years is the cycle that we're in right now. Over the next 6 to 10 years, thank you, ancestors, we really are going to see a lot of these people be reincarnated and be reborn. Well, not just anybody, but the people that are specifically reincarnations, that are coming back to pretty much usher in a new cycle of mystics and mediums and root workers. So I think that somebody out there in this world is already, if not already, about to be, it's saying very soon. So it's like if someone's not already pregnant, then very soon they're about to be pregnant with the soul of Sojourner Truth. And it's going to be a direct descendant of hers. Somebody that's already a descendant of Sojourner Truth, or a relative of hers, will be giving birth to her soul. So that's dope. Oh my God, that is super dope. She will be back here very soon. I didn't even know they had a card in there that said very soon. I didn't expect that to come out. Wow. So I lastly asked for a message from Sojourner Truth to humanity. 5 of baskets, the free man, the 9 of baskets, 7 of coins in reverse, 3 of coins, Gullah Jack, and the Son of Knives. Okay, so basically for messages from Sojourner Truth for humanity, Sojourner Truth is saying to believe in miracles. Believe in miracles. Believe that anything can happen for you. Never cry over spilled milk with this 5 of baskets, or worry about what it is that you don't have, because everything is for a reason. Everything is happening to serve your higher good, for a highest purpose. So know that, any mistakes, they were learning lessons. Anything that you've been through, it was all for you to come out stronger on the other side of it. You don't have to feel bad for, past heartbreak or past pain, or for leaving people in the past. Basically, she's saying tighten up in terms of choosing yourself. With the Fool, like, she's really saying, like, let your cutoff game be strong. Let your cutoff game be very strong. You know what it is that you bring to the table with the 9 of Cups. Don't ever let nobody tell you that what you bring to the table is not worthy of respect, honor, love, care, everything that you know that you deserve. When you bring all of these things to the table, you have to gatekeep yourself. This is what Sojourner Truth is saying. Like stop giving yourself out, giving everything out so free, willy-nilly to people with this 7 of coins in reverse. Like, protect yourself, gatekeep yourself, protect your money, your assets, everything about you, your connection to the divine. You have to protect those things. Be careful of who you work with and who you give your time and your energy to. People will target you because they know that you got spiritual gifts. That's another thing that she's saying. People will target you for your spiritual gifts. So sometimes it's okay to keep things to yourself. Keep things protected. Don't allow so many people around you. You don't need 50 million friends. Maybe you just need 1 or 2 that you could totally trust. Somebody here who's watching this, she's saying some of y'all have perpetual targets on y'all back. Because of the gifts that you have. Because of the way that you are always so sound mentally, right? Because you people will try to put the energy of confusion on you because they don't want you to get that connection. They don't want you to hear the divine. They want you all fucked up in your head, because if you know that you will make the right choices, then you will make smart decisions. If you know how powerful you are and how strong you are in the family that you are connected to and the bloodline that you come from, if you truly knew, if only you knew how much I do love you. Something like that, how the song go. But basically, Sojourner Truth is saying if only you knew how much I love you, how much your ancestors love you, how much of a strong bloodline that you come from, then you would never let people play with you. You would never even let people talk to you a certain way, because the things that you bring to the table, everything that you bring to this world, it's out of this world. It's godly. It's ancestral. It's not something that can be defined. Your connection that you have with your ancestors and spirit. So don't ever let people take that away from you. Don't ever back down. That's another thing. Don't ever back down. Stand up for what's right. Stand up for what you believe in. Protect the ones and, those that you love and the people that you love and the things that you love. And never dim your light for nobody. That's another thing. A lot of y'all, she's saying, don't listen. If you got to cut her, if you got to cut a B, then you got to cut a B. It's one of those things. Like, don't be sitting up here turning the other cheek all the time. It's not always the time to turn the other cheek. Sometimes you really got to let a mother effer know not to play with you, even if it means doing some spell, doing some left-handed work, like to protect yourself, or to, return the sender, or to block people out from your energy. Do what you got to do to protect yourself. Physically, mentally, spiritually, mind, body, and soul, all senses of the word. Like, you need to put yourself first. Nobody else in this world comes before you and what it is that you need to create for yourself. This is a very message of, of inner peace and self-indulgence and choosing you and not putting another person before the things that really matter to you. Nobody out here is going to protect you the way that you can protect yourself. I was about to say Zora Neale Hurston. God, see? This is what Sojourner Truth is saying, that no one else in this world is going to protect you the way that you can protect yourself. Also, you need to have, just like Dr. Grant would say on his card, you need to know more than one way to skin a cat. You need to know multiple ways to do things. You don't want to be in a situation where you don't know how to provide for yourself or take care of yourself. Start having your rainy day fund. Start collecting your recipes. Start learning your left-handed magic. And you just need to know these things. You need to know more than one way to protect yourself. You have limitless potential here, limitless power, boundless possibilities. Remember, it came out. And so Sojourner Truth is saying, never forget about the boundless possibilities. Always believe in that power that you have to be able to get something done. And there's more than one way to skin a cat. So at the end of the day, like, know that what works for you is not going to work for somebody else. Do what is best for you and what works for you first and foremost. Forget how it makes anybody else feel, how it looks to anybody, and never back down for those people, because at the end of the day, you're always going to be watching. Somebody here that's watching this video, if you felt called to watch this video, there are people that you don't even know that are always watching you. You're being talked about in rooms that you're not in, like how people be saying on TikTok and all, and you see that's a real thing. You got lovers and haters from all around this world that you might not even know about. Transmute all of that energy, alchemize all of that energy that's sent towards you to blessings and prosperity and abundance for yourself. You have the gift of alchemy, so never forget that. All right, so that's what I have in fermentation. Somebody could be good. Somebody wants to make wine or be a somebody here who's watching this video. You was thinking about making your own wine or go into a winery or being a sommelier. Get into it if that's what you're thinking about, because sommelier just came to my head, so somebody wants to do that. That'd be dope. But let me know what you think of the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. I love you guys, and I will catch y'all later.